Hello, everybody. Welcome in. This is Chevy Cool Lady. We're going to talk about the facts concerning the Sebastian Rogers case. This has been a case that has been full of so much speculation that it really has turned into a clown circus with just ridiculous accusations. The latest one being the blob theory, the black blob theory. Katie reportedly was seen holding a black blob that was supposedly could have been speculated allegedly was Sebastian because she had been 4 years military trained and was able to carry his 120-pound body, the black blob, to the ditch where he was retrieved by CP, again, military trained, could easily lift and carry. Anyway, there's not a bit of proof to support this theory from what I've seen. If y'all have seen something that looks substantial, please put a link in the comments for me because I really want to know all the facts. But today we're just going to cut through all the BS, all the people's ideas that they're just contriving, in my opinion, to receive clout, clicks, and what have you. Basically, a lot of people making a lot of money. But Chevy, Cool Lady, a voice for the voiceless, is here to present to you the facts concerning this very distressing case. Missing 16-year-old boy. So let's go over it. Please feel free to fill in. I want to hear your ideas. Y'all are important to me. The facts concerning the Sebastian Rogers case. Basically, the timeline from his disappearance, according to law enforcement, and that's what we're going to go by. I'm sorry, it's the only thing that we can say is attributed to facts. I'm not going to go by some other content creators' speculation. Welcome in, you guys. I'm Chevy Cool Lady. We're discussing the Sebastian Rogers case. I'm so happy to have you here today. The wedding world, visual wide, appreciate y'all. I'm reporting to you from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. We're talking about Sebastian Rogers. He's a missing boy, gone now, getting on 11 months. At the time of his disappearance, he was 15 years old, 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He was last seen, according to law enforcement, February 26, 2024, in Sumner County, Tennessee. His NCIC number is M, as in Mary, 7577530007. The TBI number for anyone with information concerning the Sebastian Rogers case is 1-800-T, as in Thomas, the B as in boy, I find, or 615-451-3838, and that's the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center. So if you have some information that's valid, don't clog up the lines with a lot of speculation. Please call in. If you know something, say something. Somebody surely knows something about this young man. Kids just don't disappear into the abyss. But that's what we have to work with today, not a lot of facts. So let's go over the 911 call, starting with the emergency dispatch. We're going to acknowledge that Sebastian was last seen on video that we have seen at the Texas Roadhouse the night before with his mother. All the speculation about the green hoodie guy and all this other stuff has turned null and void. It led to nothing, big zeros. And I'm just going to keep with the facts. So Katie gets up, assumably around 6 a.m., goes to call Sebastian for school, and there's no Sebastian. She does a preliminary check, still no Sebastian. At some point, calls Chris, who's 3 hours away, reports him missing. Chris calls uh, the sheriff department, assumably to avoid a lot of red tape. We're not sure why he didn't call 911 where it would have been recorded. I don't know if it was recorded, but the recording hasn't been released if there is one. So at 6:39 a.m., February 26, 2024, 911 dispatched. A dispatch was received from 1008 Stafford Court, where Sebastian resides. 911. Uh, I'm gonna put the links to the a very well done um, video concerning the first 11 hours of the 911 calls. It goes over, from boots on the ground to really the final dispatch of that day. So the first 11 hours are actually recorded, and I highly suggest, if you're interested in this case, to review that even multiple times. There's a lot of information on it. So on February 27th, 2024, an endangered child alert was issued, and TBI did a newsroom event. So we're going to check back just a little bit to the 911 call. And I do want to reiterate that all opinions here are strictly my own. I'm going to limit them today to just what we know from the 911 calls, as well as subsequent interviews with TBI and the police. Thank you all for joining me. If this is your first time, my name is Chevy Cool Lady. We do true crime, Christian encouragement, and strange current events that are taking place in this wacky world of ours. But Chevy Cool Lady is a voice for the voiceless, and we just love and appreciate your presence with us. Please remember to like and subscribe. Please do it right away, because it really helps the algorithms and gets this channel promoted as we're starting this community from the bottom up and building the definite coolest true crime community where no bullying and no drama is allowed. So if this sounds like a fit for you, please join. You mean the world to me. If you're already a subscriber, I love you to death. You are definitely the coolest community on the internet today. So there's zero evidence against anybody. There's zero evidence against Chris Proudfoot. There's zero evidence against Katie Proudfoot. There's zero evidence to show that Seth was somehow involved. We have not seen anything to show that they're involved. And yes, there's been a lot of crazy behavior. There's been a lot of harsh words, and there's been a lot of far out accusations. We're avoiding that today. It doesn't lead to anything. It leads to people getting stirred up and getting angry and possibly putting other people in danger, obstructing the whole investigation. And that's what we don't want to do. We want to bring the facts back down to reality. So at 6 a.m., Katie went to the bedroom. She called Chris, reporting that Sebastian was not there. She actually went outside and was driving around in her baby blue Infiniti after initially checking her own residence. When the 911 dispatch picks up at 6:42 a.m., 911's on route, and in fact, within 6 minutes of the call, Sumner County had boots on the ground, looking for what they fully expected to be was a child who wandered off and was expected to be found alive within a few short hours. Dispatch reported Uh, that a white male was missing, 15 years old, black pants, black sweatpants, and a black top. The clothing that Katie reported lasting him in at bedtime. He also had no history of running away. At at 6 a.m., they checked the bed. 6:15, she's driving around. By 6:33, the 911 call was made by Chris. At 6:39, Sumner County had boots on the ground. At 6:45, the dispatch reported that they checked the ER and he was not there. They at 7:47 changed this to a code red. What that basically means is that selected participants, parents, whoever, can register to receive selective alerts, texts, and messages concerning the search and rescue for Sebastian. Okay, so at 7:50, Sumner County initiated a search of the residents in the neighborhood. They went from basically from Stafford Court, where he lived, to Long Hollow in the surrounding streets in the neighborhood. Max, the German Shepherd, was called on the scene from K9. Now, it's very clear there's been speculation on this particular fact that Max, the canine, did in fact pick up a scent from the house that led to the retaining pond. The retaining pond bordered the Proudfoot's residence to a nearby construction site on the other side. So here's a small pond. Um, we know that we know now that Sebastian is attracted to water. We do know that Max picked up the scent. It led right to the pond, and the canine jumped in the pond and lost the scent. It's been reported that the canine did not pick up a scent, but it's very clear in this 911 call, the first 11 hours, that he did. I've always wondered why people said that the canine didn't pick up a scent. Okay, so anyway, it was also reported that um, Sebastian didn't have shoes. There were bare footprints also sighted near the pond. A very muddy area. Um, Later on, I heard through a content creator that the size of the foot didn't match Sebastian's. But I haven't seen that from the police. So have y'all seen that? If you have, just please leave me a link because I want to take a look at that, please, as we're just trying to report on the facts of the case. All right, so here we have then basically a house-to-house search from Stafford to Long Hollow, looking also for surveillance cameras, checking the carports, checking the backyards. If there's no answer, asking residents to also be alert and check their properties. There's a first press conference held on the 27th of February. There we heard from Eric Craddock, who at that time was the chief deputy, who now is sheriff of Sumner County Police Department. We heard from Ken Weiner as well, who he's apparently in charge of the emergency, Sumner County Emergency Assistance. So they were asked about shoes. They were told Sebastian didn't have shoes, apparently. Whether he did or not, was there a pair of flip flops that he could have stuck on that Katie wasn't wearing? I don't know. But it was reported he didn't have shoes. And that's what the police reiterated at the press conference. They said there's been over 220 searchers on the ground. A lot of people have said Sumner County didn't do enough. This search turned out, in my opinion, to be massive. They had not only the 220 searchers, they had uh, them equipped with search program software. It works with the cell phone. It maps out where they've already been, and then they report back and are given a new plot to begin searching. It's very high tech, apparently, and they're equipped with that. There were helicopters out. There were at least 12 drones, which also takes 12 licensed drone operators. Um, they had at least 10 mounted searchers on horseback. There were dog teams, but there were actually four specific scent, or what's called scent specific search dogs out. Hi, Deja Draper. I love you too. Looting, I can see your comment. I just don't see very good. So every now and then I just have to lean forward and take a look at it. So please bear with me. But sure, if you have any questions, feel free. We're talking about Sebastian Rogers, the now 16-year-old autistic young man missing from Sumner County. Uh, and it's like he vanished into thin air. Speculation, circus world has followed. And now the content creators are just heaping us with a lot of BS, and I'm just going to cut through that today. We don't need anything to obstruct justice for Sebastian. We need facts. And that's what Chevy Cool Lady is providing you today. Facts on the case, what we know. It might be not what you want to hear. You might want to tell me about this and that speculative, conjuncture created in the minds of, whacked out content creators. And really, I don't have time for that. I don't listen to them. I don't review all these panels that just are bantering back and forth, coming up with all kinds of accusations and zero evidence. And, what good does that do? Right, people? So we don't like drama here, and we don't like bullying. All right. So on March 3rd, the sheriff department stated very clearly that they had the full cooperation of all three parents. I haven't heard LE state anything different from that time. And like I said, I know that the interviews have been weird. I know that some of the people are not likable. Some of the players aren't likable at all. And we have heard a lot. This has been going on now almost 11 months. And the fact of the matter is, we want Sebastian home. We want justice for Sebastian. We want this young man returned, a young man, 16 years old, autistic, a beautiful human being that deserves a life. If he's being held captive, if he's involved in some kind of trafficking, he needs rescued. We need to keep our eyes out. We can't depend on the media to do their job because they don't. They drop stories. I understand there's a lot of stories every single day, but we have a young man who's missing. And so it takes people like me to present the awareness to you guys, and it takes you guys to like, subscribe, and share, and get the story out to as many people who will listen to it. Get more eyes out, and let's find this young man and pray for the best. As time goes on, it seems dark. It's a mystery at best. So, keep your prayers up, keep your faith up for Sebastian Rogers. Say his name, keep him in the forefront of your mind and in your prayers. Amen. So, I'm just going to bring up some other things concerning the Sebastian Rogers case. Let's see. Thank you, Loading from Bangladesh. I'm so happy that we have a worldwide international coverage that I can be here in America and talk to you guys in India or anywhere else in the world, in all the states, in all the countries, in Europe and everywhere else. It's amazing. We live in exciting times. I'm so happy to be alive, and I'm glad you guys are too. Thanks for joining me. Sebastian Rogers, an ongoing investigation. The initial disappearance, February 26, 2024. We saw him on the 25th at Texas Roadhouse with his mother, Katie. Law enforcement still says last seen February 26, 2024, and we're sticking with that. He's from Henderson, Tennessee. It's about hour or so northeast of Nashville. He lived on Stafford Court. The neighborhood there is very, I'd say well to do, very big, nice houses, a beautiful neighborhood, a place that you would think would be safe. But somehow, some way, this young man disappeared in the middle of the night. It's so sad. So his mother, Katie, at the time of the 911 call, was driving her baby blue SUV. We're not real sure what time she left. We don't know how Sebastian disappeared. Did he walk out the door like his parents have been saying this whole time? Did he walk out without any shoes? Darker side, was he carried out? Did something happen to him from the 9 o'clock bedtime, the time he presumably got home? The 10 o'clock thud on the floor that his mom reported hearing, she didn't go in and check on. Was that a window opening or shutting? Was that him falling? Did something happen to him? Did she do something to him? Supposedly, she was the only one that was there with him. We don't know. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys. You mean the world to me. What happened to Sebastian? What happened? Why was nothing caught on surveillance? We saw uh, in that first 911 call, in the first 11 hours, and I'll put the description or the link in the description for you to check out. We also saw lights in the direct area of the Proudfoot's home, lights around 3 a.m., lights that we were told at one point belonged to a trash truck. Didn't look like a trash truck to anyone. That's probably one of the first clues that I got that, something odd is really going on here. And we saw that what looked like a flashlight coming from the direction of the Proudfoot's house, one looks like it coming from the direction of the road, one turning off and on, and it was weird. It was weird, and it didn't look like a trash truck, but I could be wrong. I haven't heard what LE has said concerning that particular bit of surveillance that was taken by a neighbor. Have you all heard what they said about that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments also where you're watching from. I'm so excited that this news is going out as far as it is. Who knows where Sebastian is? Some speculated he could have been trafficked. He could be anywhere in the world if that's true. Hopefully, it's not. It makes me so sick to even think it, but we have to keep our minds open and we have to keep our eyes out. So there was a couple of other things that happened. Okay, we know that the dog went to the retention pond and dived in. We know that. We also know there were no further footprints on any other part of the pond. The pond was drained. It was walked by divers because what you have is a whole lot of thick ugh, Tennessee mud in there. And, could he have been buried while the retention pond was full? Could he have gotten stuck somehow and they didn't find him when they drained it? It's not really likely, I don't think. Do y'all think? So they had another thing that came up on the first 11 hours of the 911 calls. It was kind of crazy to me and still puts a big question mark in my mind. It was the drone operator reporting on the dispatch that there was a person in the woods past the pond near the end of the site, near the other side by the woods, a lone person standing on the other side of the pond. As they got closer, they said, "Oh, it's not a person, it's a mannequin." What? I don't know. This isn't like, because then I thought, was like a farmer using it like a scarecrow? Why would they? And that to me, and I don't care, in any circumstances would totally freak me out. If I come up to in the woods and there's a mannequin standing there or laying there, I would freak out. Would you all freak out if you're just walking along the woods and here's a mannequin? And unfortunately, I've heard a lot of other 911 calls where someone did think they saw a mannequin and it turned out not to be, just the opposite. It turned out to be a human body. And oh, luckily, in this case, it was a mannequin. Still raising questions in my mind. That added a whole nother level of spook element to this whole story to me. And it still does. That's why I can't. I'm like fixated on it. Why was there a mannequin there? I don't know, but it was weird. So the police canvassed the area. They searched every home. They went across the pond. They went across from his house. They went to a neighbor. They went to his high school. They went to where he had fun at a little recreation place, like they looked everywhere. They looked everywhere they could even think. They looked everywhere, but they found no Sebastian. They even went to a high school, another high school, not his, but where he might have some ties, maybe some friends, maybe I don't know what the ties were, but it was 10 miles away, and that would be quite a distance for a young man who isn't known to run away or walk off or go into the woods or like dirt or like bugs or any of these things. It'd be a long way for him to walk without any shoes, basically in the middle of the night or early morning hours. But they did check, and they checked a place called Strike and Spare. He was there 2 nights prior and was reportedly having a great time. Thought maybe he walked back over there, but he didn't. He didn't. There was no luck. The case escalated. An endangered child report was put out. The search grew. There were tons of volunteers. Um, the next day, they upgraded the alert to an Amber Alert. When they do that, that generally means that there is now at least a suspicion or a cause or possibility that he may have been actually abducted. So, who could have taken this young man? Who could have taken him from his house or from the neighboring area? Did he meet somebody online? We're told that he actually left his phone at the house. Um, the phone wasn't much good anyway. It was really just for him to receive incoming calls that, we were told he didn't have internet connection or capability. We're told that on his game, same thing. Now, all the digital formats have been searched, again with no luck. Nothing seems to lead us, and nothing has led us yet to Sebastian. The volunteers grouped up and they searched Hendersonville, Sumner County, um, provided food for the uh, searchers. Nicole Fetterchoke was a spokesperson, and surveillance systems were checked. WKRN reported that the family requested that the media does not contact them. A lot of people consider this a huge red flag. If your child was missing, would you insist that the media not contact you? Yeah, I wouldn't either. I'd want them to contact me. I'd want anybody to contact me because it's maddening getting that no call that you're waiting for that door to open and someone to come in and everything to be all right. It's one of the worst feelings that you can have. So, yeah, I can't imagine that I would cut off any source of information this early on. It just doesn't really make sense. But we do need to remember that even as the Amber Alert was issued, that in about 58% of child abductions, it's done by the non custodial parent. So, where's Seth in all this? The non custodial parent. Since that time, we've heard a lot of accusations back and forth. It seems like most people have taken Seth's side. It seems that Seth has made a lot more the public appearance. He had a lot of questions, like when he went to the house the morning of the 26th. He said people were at the house walking around. They weren't treating it like a crime scene. They weren't, you know, trying to, minimize obstruction or pollution of the area. Not that it was a crime, but it still should have been treated like a crime scene until their child was safely returned. So he said the Proudfoots and the grandparents, whoever else happened to be at the house, weren't even talking about Sebastian. They were just going about their day, and it seemed odd to him. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying that is something that Seth said. So it seemed like because he made so many public appearances, he seemed to hit all the right cues with people, even professional people. I've watched a lot of professionals tear different, body language that was used, linguistics apart to try to come with some answers. And it seems like although there's been both violence and um, you know discord in both sets of parents background, nothing points that any of them have actually done anything to Sebastian. Facts. There's zero evidence to support that. So a lot of eyebrows have been raised, and a lot of speculation has been raised, and it's still continuing to this day. Um, so all surveillance has been reviewed, and has led to nothing. Early on in the search, by March 2nd, $3,000 was posted as a reward by local businessmen. Uh, by the second week, the search was scaled down, um, and they transitioned to what they're calling a investigative mode. Funding's an issue to carry on the grandiose scale, full scale search that they were carrying on, with over 200 officials from a dozen agencies. A ground search that turned up nothing in 2 weeks. Um, by all accounts, it was intensive. Volunteer, dog team, horses, drones, rescue agencies, ground efforts were scaled back 2 weeks into his disappearance. Residents were instructed to continue checking their property twice a day, looking places a teenager might try to hide. It was reported that he was found by a neighbor ducking down by one of their autos one day. So they said, check near your automobiles. Maybe he's in them or around them. Nothing has turned him up. Elizabeth Vargas reported, um, basically on News Nation, that Seth was confused and frustrated. She did an interview with him. He showed up because it was a roadside interview in a t shirt with Sebastian's face on it. He himself being the billboard for his missing son. It again hit a lot of people the right way. Um, they, of course, have found nothing on any of the electronics, the Nintendo, the phone, nothing. Sebastian did not like being barefoot. He's overstimulated, possibly like a lot of autistic children are, and doesn't like bugs, doesn't like dirt. Seth reiterated that he wasn't that kid that would go out barefoot in the middle of the night. He wasn't that kid. More questions, no answers. Uh, Major concerns developed in the next 2 weeks when, according to Seth, the Proudfoots weren't even speaking with him. They are apparently working together at this point, to some extent, anyway. So, again, even at this point, law enforcement was saying that the parents were cooperative. Foul play has not been ruled out, yet there has been no proof. TBI held a question and answer press release. They were questioned basically about the search. They said 2,000 miles were searched for Sebastian. Ellie canvassed the neighborhood aerial, aerially, aerially by helicopter drone, by winged plane. They used thermal imaging technology. They did Sebastian's home, yard, and house and vehicles multiple times. The neighbors' houses, yards, etc., were all searched. Family reports he's autistic and drawn to water. The pool searched. Dive teams searched ponds and caves. This is mountainous areas. It's rough terrain surrounding their neighborhood. Surveillance from B52, residential and cell cells and videos were analyzed by TBI, FBI, and SS, and no, not. Surveillance may have evidently been released. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. So, let me know if y'all can hear me all right. Sometimes I run out of juice. Where is my little? All right, then. I'm going to leave it at that. This is what we have so far. We have a whole lot of nothing, but I love you guys. I appreciate you for joining me today. Thanks so much. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Please help support this channel. Please buy me a coffee if you'd like. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.